Well, there we go, gang. Yeah, I think we're fully live. Hey guys, listen, it's great to be here with you. This is Curtis Broom. Actually, Travis is out. Travis and Summer out traveling and rocking and rolling. So they set up this hangout. Good afternoon there in the States. It's about I think let's see, it would be probably about 1:30 p.m. Central Time. I'm actually coming to you guys from Antalya, Turkey. So I'm on the Mediterranean coast, northern part of Turkey, and it's absolutely stunningly gorgeous, but it's about 9:30 in the evening here. In fact, Lisa and I are here for the next couple of days. We're actually doing a training and coaching session for a group of about 50 leaders of the company who qualified to come in for an incentive trip. We're staying at an amazing place called Mardin Palace. Mardin Palace is just a huge facility. In fact, you know something, I'll unplug here in just a second, unplug the power cord, and I'll see if we can get outside and show you the pool. You know, this is probably one of those stupid things, but after all, it's about the lifestyle, and if nothing else, then, you know, if it cuts off, I'll just come right back in as soon as I get, but the wireless signal here is so strong, it should be fine right out here on my balcony. Anyway, Mardin Palace is the home of the largest spa in Europe, evidently, and I've got to tell you, they've got some amazing staff. Lisa and I, we went down with a bunch of the gang, all of us, about 2 o'clock this afternoon, and had a 2-hour massage, and it's just like been like jello ever since. So anyway, let's do this. Let me show you one of the largest pools at a hotel that I've ever had the pleasure of seeing. So come right out here onto the deck. And there's the main building, and the pool. Actually, I don't know if you can see it. It looks like there's the line of blue, and then the pool in front of it. Well, the line of blue is actually let's consider it a very wide moat that goes around the whole area, because that's where the Venetian boats travel. But this is the pool. So the pool goes from there all the way down past the floating bars, and then all the way out beyond where at 8:30, about an hour ago, there was this huge Vegas-style light and water show, and then out beyond that, that's actually the Mediterranean. So anyway, if you ever want to get away to a really cool, wild, exotic place, Mardin Palace, Antalya, Turkey, and it's in a city that's got great great architecture, Turkish and Mediterranean architecture. So anyway, so I'm coming to you from here, and it's great to spend some time with you guys again. It's a pleasure, as always, to be able to spend time with a phenomenal and I want to give you guys a perspective. It was interesting. I saw a training program from a really good friend. Someone sent me a link to take a glance at something, and it's someone who is a very, very good friend of mine and Lisa's, and has been for a long time. He's been one of the elite trainers in our profession for a very long time, and he was doing a training example for a company, and it was an interesting scenario. So it was kind of a skit that he played out. And so I want to imagine that, there's something that doesn't feel right. You've got some type of a physical issue, that you do. And so you make an appointment to go see the doctor. You go to the doctor's office, check in at the reception area. They show you back to one of the examination rooms. The nurse checks your blood pressure, maybe your temperature, just to get some initial data. Has you sit there in the examination room, says, here, hop up on the table, sit here. The doctor will be in shortly. The doctor walks in, takes one look at you, shuts the door, and says, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and diagnose you right now and write your prescription for some, antibiotics for your sore throat. And then you start to say, but doctor, I don't have a sore throat. No, I'm writing your prescription for a sore throat, because you see, I've got a sore throat today, so I'm writing your prescription for a sore throat. But doctor, I don't have a sore throat. No. I have a sore throat, therefore I'm going to write you a prescription for a sore throat. Now, at that moment, how would you feel about that experience with that physician? But he went on to make the comment, as he looked at everybody, says, that's how so many people operate their business in this profession. they never take time to stop and interview the other person, examine the other person. It's like, listen, I want to make a lot of money, so you want to make a lot of money. So here you go. Let's talk about how to make a lot of money. And so that prompted a comment that he made about where making a lot of money ranks in actual surveys of priorities of the most important things for people. And he just made a comment that it's actually way down the list. And so I went out and I started, taking a look and looking through some, information and statistical data that's available through various survey groups for the profession. And I came across something, and I thought I'd share it with you because it was really an interesting perspective. If you came to network marketing, or if you have reached a point in network marketing, and if you have reached a point in your career with Mynt that for you it's about making a lot of money or getting into a position where you can, hey, that's great. You've chosen a great company. We all know the story. You've got a company that is a brand new startup, fresh, exciting story and product lineup, and it's hip and it's cool and it's on the leading edge, but it's backed by monster expertise, stability, and infrastructure. So you've got the best of all worlds. You've got the stability that usually only comes with a significant period of time, but the excitement's worn off. Or you've got the excitement and you've got the enthusiasm and the freshness of that brand new thing, but that lurking thing in the back of your mind that it's true that 90% of companies fail in their very first year. And of the remaining 10%, 50% of those, or another 5%, will fail in their second year. And in order to make it to year 5, only about 2 out of 100 do. 2 to 3. So you got one of the give or take. So you're in a wonderful position. So you've got the great expertise and muscle and stability of the legacy, but you've got the freshness of the new opportunity. And if you reach that point where you decided, I'm going to go all in and I'm going to do whatever it takes, and I'm holding nothing back, and I'm going to go flat out, remember that the network marketing is about building a network of consumers. And these are things we've all talked about on these sessions before. If you go back and look at all the Hangout stuff before at different times with myself or Lisa. And I didn't say customers, I said consumers. Every team member on your team is a consumer. Every customer is a consumer. You get paid on consumption. You don't get paid on the consumption of this one product or that one product. You get paid on the consumption of any product by anybody within the connected network that can grow below you. That's why we talk about the hot market, because it has been shown that if individuals, when they are new, can gather a few ongoing product consuming non-participants, they will the individuals who do that, they create those friend consumers, those family customers, family customer consumers, that if they get even a small group of that, 3 or 4, not a gigantic number, but if they are able to gather a few of those, the length of time that statistically as a group, the new group of people who have customers versus those who never do, that they stay actively engaged is massively longer. So why do we recommend you start with a hot market? Simple. One, it's smart business. You took money and you spent it to start a business and you required product. You simply take the product and you go through a mutual exchange transaction, not selling, but go through a mutual exchange where you exchange that product, which is of significant value to someone you love and care about, and they pay you. You didn't sell them. You said, here's the proposal. Can I count on you to be one of my trial consumers? Boom. Let me exchange this product of high value with you for repayment of what my expense was to acquire it, to be able to give it to you. And what that does is it does 2 things. One, it engages people, it creates confidence, and 2, it allows them to create an established group of consumers that if they simply follow up, a portion of those are going to remain as consumers. And what's interesting, it's been shown they'll remain as consumers as long as you're doing that silly business. So as long as you're doing the silly business, there'll be consumers. And ironically, as long as you have consumers, people tend to stay in the business longer. And now you have time to walk them through a process. But even if you've made the decision that for you it's about making money, you need to be careful. Because if you go out and you check actual surveys, let me share with you where the making money part ranks in terms of statistical surveys that have been done in surveys of just large groups of people in the profession. What are their reasons? And so a couple of things, like you might think that the main reason is join for the money, but let's show you where that ranks. When interviewed about what were the number one reasons that they chose to join a network marketing company, in most cases primarily for the first time, number one on the list in these studies or in these surveys was that they joined because they liked or the information caused them to truly believe in the product. So the number one reason they joined was their belief or the fact that they liked the product. It wasn't about making money, it was focused around the product. Well, you guys are in a great position. You got great products. You got world-class products. Second was the realization, which if it's communicated properly, was that they could be their own boss. Because the reality is for all those working for others, and that's okay if you are, but you and I both know that you're in a circumstance, even if well compensated, you're in a circumstance when you work for others where you are told what to do, when to do it, what that is worth, and even what time you can go eat, whether you're hungry or not. Here's your allotted eating time. And for many people, that's certainly the path that they've been on or they're on currently, and that's okay. But the number two most often commented reason, the number two highest ranking reason for why people chose to join network marketing is they saw, if it was communicated properly, the ability for at least part-time if it needed to be on the side, but if I started this as something in addition to what I was doing, I get to be my own boss. Now, for some, that's exciting. For some, that's intimidating, but it was the number two desire, the most important, the number two ranked desire as to why they chose to join. Gee, I can take control. I can be in control myself. Third, most important reason was, even if it's something that I'm doing part-time, even if it's something I have to work, I get to do it from home. I don't have to drive through traffic. I don't have to go someplace else. I don't have to be at somebody else's mercy where they tell me to be. I can do it right here, and I can do it comfortably right here. And the fourth reason was, what was shown in these surveys, is if it was shown and understood properly, I get it. The more effort I put in, the more I can make. Whereas when I go to this job, regardless of the effort they have set, what they believe my value is. And the ironic thing is that in order to get that raise, you do have to work harder, and you don't get to make more immediately. See, no one promotes someone in a regular employment situation to a position they're not worthy of, they're not capable of. Now, you may be new to the next higher level of responsibility and supervisory or management capacity, but you have to have already been performing at a level that is pretty clear you're able to, or they're not going to put you there. They're not going to promote somebody into a position they don't believe they're capable or able to perform. And the only way that they know that that person's capable or able, they've already been performing at a level that's similar to that. So you have to perform, whereas immediately, the more effort that you put in, almost immediately, the greater the result can be. Now, there's no doubt there is compounding benefit that takes time when you're truly creating leverage. But the reality is, the number four reason they joined, we still aren't talking about money. It's just they realized the concept that the harder I work, the more I can make. So this seems to be fair. In other words, if you really think about it, what they're saying is it's the fairness of it. It seems to me to be incredibly fair that if I work more, I get more. That makes sense. So I can be my own boss, and the amount that I choose to work will determine the amount that I receive, not nobody else directing that. I can do it from the comfort of my home, even if it's part-time. And most importantly, it's because it's about a product that I like and that I believe in. Number five was where people then started talking about, and therefore then the money and the income that can be created when all these things come together. Number five. So when you go in to have a conversation with someone, why don't you examine them? Why don't you interview them? That's why you'll hear us previously. The most successful people, if you look through our hot market system, some other trainings we've done, the most successful people in our profession are good at three things. They're really, I mean, there's a lot of things they're good at, but there are three things that really drove that success. They're tremendously good at asking questions, not walking in and saying, I've got a sore throat, you've got a sore throat, I'm going to prescribe this medication. No, I don't have a sore throat. Well, I want to make money, so you want to make money, so let's talk about making money. Instead, they ask questions. They listen carefully to the answers. And then they're good at telling stories which cause people to relate. And stories raise emotional connection. Emotional elevation of emotional connection is what causes people to be attracted and really want to do it. The information, our products are scientifically backed, they're creative, they're whatever, they're research, they're, yada, yada, yada. That's the information that justifies their emotional excitement about it. And then, so keep that in mind. Is, number 5 is money. So if you're money driven, that's great. That's for you. Talk to them, interview them, examine them, evaluate them, listen carefully to the responses. And then there are a couple other things that I found as well. They talked to people who were involved in companies and had been there a long time and said, why are you staying? What are the reasons that are keeping you engaged and you're staying? Let me pull up this list because I think you're going to love this one. And then you relate this back to what you're doing as a company and then relate this back to what you're doing as a team. Here were the reasons they stayed. And interestingly enough, again, their earnings was number 5. Number 1, the biggest reason they stayed was they had a positive experience with the products. So they were they joined because they liked the product or believed in the product. They seemed to be attracted to it, but the ongoing the retention, they had a favorable response to the product. The product really did create a positive impact on them. Well, you have products that are proving right and left to be doing just that. So that's a no-brainer. You got that one done. But here's where the rest kicks in. The number 2 reason they stayed was they could relate to, they trusted in, they felt comfortable with the management and the owners of the company, the leadership of the company. That was the second reason they stayed. They believed that they could trust in the company. Well, with the people you've got at the top, with Katie and Mauricio, you've got people that anybody who spends a few minutes with them realizes they can believe in. The third reason they stayed, we aren't getting the money yet. They actually could, again, believe in, relate to, and they felt comfortable with. They had confidence in the leadership of the field, top distributors, and their sponsors or their sponsors, their enrollment line. If it wasn't their direct sponsor who maybe knew like them or already quit 10 minutes ago, or 10 minutes after they started, bottom line, it was within that line of responsibility or the overall leadership of the company. They felt they could trust them, they could relate to them, they could identify with them, and so they were attracted to them. The fourth reason, they felt that they could relate to the vision of the company. They felt connected to the picture, the vision that was being created by the company. And so you need to step back and ask yourself that as well. Is there a vision? Well, the magic you have is there is a crystal clear vision. There is a very specific vision. And Katie and Mauricio and the whole team corporately, as well as leadership team, are spending their time. So if you look at these things, the question is, are your actions in alignment with this? Are your conversations the types of conversations that are listening to people, and when you really listen, you may find that before you get to money, there are other things that are their trigger points that would cause them to be interested or considering joining. Once joining, you want them to stay. Are the things you do and are the things your leadership team and in the management team and with the product and with the vision of the, are those things in alignment? The number 5 reason they stayed was earnings. Number 5, 5th ranked reason. So, just think about that one a second before you get too, let me just shove money down everybody's throat. And then it was interesting, they did the surveys, they looked at surveys of why distributors left. They took some companies, and as people left, they did exit interviews and said, why did you leave? Basically, like you would an employee, why would you leave? And it wasn't the lack of income. The 4 factors, number 1 was they felt there was poor communication, whether at the company or from their leadership, there was poor communication. They felt there was poor support. They felt that there was Number three, I think it was inadequate leadership. They didn't believe that there was leadership there that truly led. You know, sometimes people who have a larger check are called leaders, and in many cases, they're some of the worst examples of leadership. And I've seen people who are brand new. I've met them a week after joining the profession in their first company, and it's crystal clear they're going to be. They already are, because it's the decision you make first and foremost. So they already are, but you know that very shortly they're going to be truly, actually, tangibly realizing the fact that they are extraordinary leadership. And the number four reason, and it wasn't lack of income, it was poor training. Lack of training. You know what those things really are? It's what Lisa talks about. It's what Marisa had talked about. What's the number one problem in network marketing, and that runs over people? It's improperly set or mismanaged expectation. Well, what are those four things? Poor communication, inferior support, inadequate leadership, and poor lack of training. What were they obviously expecting? Obviously, the message before they joined must have been, hey, we listen to you, we hear you, we care about you. There's great communication. We give you. There's all the tools and all the support. There's all the training. We take you by the hand. We walk you all the way through it. You know, we people who have had great success are going to be there to guide you and lead you. And instead, their experience is poor communication, lack of poor training, lack of leadership, and inferior support. There's mismanaged expectation. The story to excite them to join was great. The reality was not. So if you look at those different areas, last might have been or in fifth place would be, worked real hard, never really made a lot of money. Well, the question is, did they really? But if in their belief they really worked hard and they didn't feel that the reward was effective, then that might have been one of the reasons they left. But that was number five. It wasn't the first one. It was number five. So I wanted to share those thoughts with you guys because it's amazing how sometimes at the higher level of leadership or thought or rank or whatever it is, you know, you've got the group that is at the top and driving, if you will, because many of us have realized that whether or not it's about money, achieving a significant degree of financial success creates choice, significant choice. You can choose how it affects your lifestyle to a greater degree than if you have limited financial resource. You can choose how aggressive you are in providing those things, in traveling a lot to support those teams and provide that leadership and provide that training, because by having a higher level of financial reward, you're in a position to be able to do that. And so if you've got that servant leadership heart, you can really do that more effectively. So that's a great thing. But for many people, you need to know, particularly those who are new to the profession, they may not be where you are. In fact, they probably aren't. And are you operating, and is the company operating, and as a leadership group, are you operating in a way that you realize that, yes, you have to make choices for yourself, and you have to be committed to those choices, and you have to have a clear vision for yourself, and then you commit to that vision if you're ever going to have a chance of achieving it for yourself. But you do that by helping others work towards their vision, and that is most likely not yours. If your vision is to be the elite, top tier, high rank, elite, high financial reward earning individual, understand that is a very tiny percentage, not because it's rigged, not because it's set up so that only a few can. It's because only a rare small few will ever do what it takes to achieve elite result at anything. That's why at 120,000 a year, you're in the top like 3% of the income earners in the United States, and at 400,000 a year, you know, it takes 2.5 years to gross $1 million. Touch $1 million, it'd probably take more like 4 or 5. You're in the top 1%. That's just old giant teams. Is you may be that elite, high effort, high, large vision, powerhouse, committed, high achiever mentality person. That's great. That's wonderful, and stick with it, and stop imposing that on others. Create an environment that allows those like you, which will be very few in number, to rise unencumbered while it welcomes, it respects, it cherishes, it encourages, it makes them feel good and feel appreciated, those who, quite frankly, money is way down on the list. They identified and believed in, and then are getting great positive result from a product. And if they've got a few consumers, handful of customers, and if there is proper training, there's proper leadership, there's proper support, there's a vision that is clear, they trust and believe in the leadership because those things are provided, then you will build huge communities and gigantic teams. And all of that allows you, if you're one of those elite, to achieve those things that you're willing to put in that elite effort, which so few will, but you'll only get those results if you remember. For the masses, it's about them. Keep it about them and realize it's not about money. It's about all that other stuff. So there you go, guys. Just some thoughts from Antalya, Turkey. Saw an email pop through a couple days ago, and it just kind of prompted to click some thoughts in my head. So there you go. I hope that was a benefit to you as you just kind of focus on where you are mentally and your perspective of how you see your business, but also how do you believe the world sees your business, and how do you need to present your business so that what you see for yourself can be reached because of what you show others is possible and is available in the business, because you took the time to examine them, not simply prescribe for them based upon your desires only. Anyway, there you go. I hope you guys have had a great week. Hope you continue to have a great week, remainder of a week. Crush it going on in through the weekend, and we'll see you next week. Take care, gang. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.